Hey, I have a question for you today. Did you make a resolution this year? Or maybe the better question to ask at this point is, do you remember what your resolution was for this year? I realized pretty quickly that I'm not very good at keeping resolutions. Now, that's just something about resolutions that just never seemed to work out for me. And it bugged me enough one time to actually figure out why and to work to change that. So thank you for joining me this week. My name is Amy. I'm with Dragon's Pit Apothecary, and this is our Tune In Tuesday segment where I'm going to share with you how I finally figured out how to keep my New Year's resolutions. And no, it's not because I don't make them, because I do. So I think it's great to have goals. They help keep us focused. They help us stay motivated towards something we really want. And ultimately, it's really healthy, right, to be working towards something. Resolutions, though, are not goals. In my opinion, this is one of the biggest misunderstood things about a New Year's resolution. A resolution, per dictionary.com, is the act of resolving or determining upon an action, a course or method or a procedure. It's how you're going to do something, okay? Now, this definition goes on to say it can also mean a mental state or quality of being resolved, your firmness of purpose. And that means we know why we want to do something. A third meaning is that a resolution is a decision or a determination. A decision and being determined about it is not a goal, okay? So trick number one I figured out is, quit putting so much pressure on myself and realize what a resolution actually is. Instead of saying I was going to lose weight this year, I said, I resolved to be more healthy, giving a purpose behind wanting to lose some weight. And the goals I set to doing that support my resolution. Okay. They become my action plan to making it possible to be more healthy by December of this year. Do you see the difference? Okay, that is just more than semantics, too. When we treat our resolutions like goals, and in a couple weeks we see that there's not much progress or physical change, we get frustrated. We end up beating ourselves up over them. We feel guilty, we give up, and we don't want to try it anytime soon, right? Because we feel like we failed. But in the future, and we say it in a way that we can develop incremental goals against, it becomes a little more achievable. Okay. And we have a chance at making it happen without the guilt. Now, with that pressure off about what resolutions are, the next thing about resolutions that I particularly love is that we can make them about something large in our life. This is where things like having a word or a theme or an intention comes into play. So I have used a word for the year before as kind of a big intention. And I think those are great. I think intentions and words can be similar opportunity here. I love setting an intention for the year. Like this is a year that I'm going to find me focusing more on my health. Okay. Just as an example. So my word could be health, energy, or even wellness. That could mean anything from starting to exercise regularly, eating healthier, working on sleeping better, you name it. There's lots of possibilities under that, right? But I've given myself room to set some meaningful things in place for supporting what that will represent versus these more stringent goals up front that I have not a prayer of meeting. Now, the other trick is to make that word part of my daily language so that not only does it become something I remember, but something that we look for ways to do, right? Because when your word is health, for instance, and you use that regularly in your communication every day, you automatically start to see ways that you can improve your health. Like you remember this word and you're like, oh yeah, I think I'll have a salad or I'll eat a piece of fruit versus chocolate, right? You start to recognize the behavior around it. Okay, the very last trick for keeping your resolutions this year. The biggest trick I have has been making it something I really want and not something I feel like I should do, right? This is important because, for one thing, you won't work on it if you really don't care about it or your heart's not into it. Okay, that's number one. And secondly, you could be overlooking something that you need to do first in your life. Now remember, resolution means purpose, to resolve, and having a mental state determined about it. So I love this last tip because by honoring what I really want instead of what I feel guilty about is the key to living naturally anyway. So it fits right in. And it lets me be me, right? And when I feel like me, I usually end up doing really well in achieving the goals that I've set for myself because it comes easier. I'm doing it my way. So if you're ready to make resolutions stick this year, give these tips a try and share your progress with me in the comments. You'll want to make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss next week's Tune In Tuesday. I hope you found it well, and I will talk to you next week.